the Philadelphia Phillies against the San Francisco Giants, and they are going into the top of the 7th, and it is a tight game right now. Philadelphia, it was tied, and then San Francisco scored, so the score now is 6-5 for San Francisco. So it's going to be very interesting to see how the last 2 innings play out, and who knows, we might actually end up in extra innings. But I want to take you through, I just want to show you some of the other players and see what they're doing, and let's actually get a good understanding of how Ranking Ball can actually play out for some of these games, especially when they're super tight games like this. So let's jump right into it, and we can so basically what's happened so far is it has been the end of the 6th. San Francisco is up 6-0. Most of the runs have been scored, at least by the Giants, in the earlier half of the game, but the last inning was, they did get one run scored. Now, Philadelphia has the ability to come back and answer right now, so it'll be very interesting to see if they do that. Now, last we checked, William Jerez was pitching. Now, we've seen Jerez before, and he's done a very good job for San Francisco. So we'll see kind of how that goes, and we're going to jump into the lineup, and it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. There's the first pitch. All right. So this guy. So we can just go through it and see who is actually where. And so first place right now is RKDTMDWNS130. I'm going to have to come up with an abbreviation for that. I'm not going to keep repeating that if they stay in first. They currently have 3 bingos, which is huge right now. And let's see, where is the activated count? Okay, so you can see right now there are 3 bingos. They have the 1 horizontal with Hernandez, the Philadelphia pitcher, and Bryce Harper. And then they have 2 vertical with Kingsley pitching and Segura. And then they also have Realmoto, Harper, and Brandon Belt for the other 2. So they have 2 vertical bingos and 1 horizontal. And so that's propelled them with 45 points, 45.3 points into first place. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how that plays out. Now, Brandon Posey is on their board, but it isn't an open square. And again, we've talked about this before. Having diagonals that are missing is such a critical problem. So I hope we can actually see, let's go through Hernandez. Actually, so Hernandez is up to bat next. So if Hernandez gets a base hit, gets walked, does anything offensively, we'll actually be able to see Hernandez and what Hernandez can do. And that'll give them a bingo. That'll give them another horizontal bingo. So that would be huge, especially with the Philadelphia pitching right now at 10 points. So that's something to keep our eye on as we go on. So let's see who else is out there. So right now we do have XOMMUXAN. Okay, I'm not going to repeat these names. So just follow along and you'll know who I'm talking about on the board because it will come up on the screen. So they currently have, let's see. Okay, so they as well have 3 bingos. They have 1 diagonal, which is huge, which was with Philadelphia pitching, Bryce Harper, and 1 vertical with Voit pitching and Realmoto, and then 1 horizontal with Harper, Realmoto, and Yaz. So that's huge for them. They do not have Hernandez in right now, but actually Hernandez, I believe we might have skipped Hernandez, and I believe Knapp is up right now. So that'll be interesting to see kind of how that plays out. But they right now, once Yaz comes up, but again, Yaz isn't going to show up until the next inning. But if Yaz shows up, then it'll be interesting to see. Now, we've talked about how the pitching is super important when you're dealing with a lot of these games. But when you're in tight games like this, the pitching can go back and forth. So pitching doesn't necessarily do a whole lot for you in comparison to if you are up. And it's not so much that, it's really that if one team is allowed to score, not allowed, but if one team scores 2, 3, 4 runs or more, they actually end up getting pulled, not getting pulled back, but their pitching score takes a dramatic hit and goes into the negatives, and it's hard to dig yourself out of all those negative points. So that's really what the key is. But right now, because both teams are scoring so much offensively, it hasn't really made a difference. So we have a new number 2 right now, which is WJDTJSDN14. Okay, so seriously, we need to have more like normal names here, because this is actually ridiculous. And as you can see, they as well are missing Brendan Posey, but not in a super critical position. Now they do have 4 bingos, so we can actually take a look and see where they got those. So they actually have two horizontal, 1 vertical, or 3 horizontal and 1 vertical, and that's kind of the big thing right now. So Hernandez did get on base, and so Hernandez got that bingo, and so we can actually check back with the first place, and you can see they only have Realmoto right now available for scoring points. But where was first place? First place. So as you can see, their board is now cleared. First place's board is now cleared. So they did get that bingo, and that propelled them from, I believe, 49 points to 54.15. So they remain tough in first place. Now they do have Realmoto, who has 2.5 points. And again, even if they get the Philadelphia pitcher, that's not going to get them the bingo because they're missing players. So they're going to have to rely a lot on Brandon Belt, Bryce Harper, or Hoskins and Kingerly. And hopefully they can get a horizontal and a vertical, and if that's kind of how they're going to have to rely on their board to keep their game going. Now we can go down further. So again, so this is an interesting, so 4th place. So this is what I'm talking about with the pitching. When you're in a tight game like this, it can go back and forth so much that you can see a very clear difference in the pitching. So if a team, say one team allows 5 runs and the other hasn't, you'll see a huge disparity in points based off of the pitching. But when it is tight like this, 4th place, like we're now seeing our first San Francisco pitcher. So they are very balanced in that regard. So so that's an interesting take. So just something to be aware of. And again, when you are in a close game like this, but you can see, again, missing a critical board, but with Brendan Posey, they have a real chance at getting a bingo here. Now, it won't be for much, obviously, but I mean, obviously, as long as San Francisco is able to get 1 strikeout here, then they will be able to get the Hernandez, San Francisco pitching, and Segura bingo. And so again, that'll be huge. Their bingo count is at 3, and right now they are up. They're up in 4th place. So that'll be huge for them. And I think that's going to be really important. Well, again, we will have to see, and kind of as the game goes on, we'll see who's pitching kind of outlasts each other. Now, we've talked out the first top 4. Let's just go to the bottom and see who we have. So Ekatono. So Ekatono is at the bottom, only missing 1 player in a very critical position. Not a critical position, I would say. Now, I say not a critical position, but the reality is, if you want to do well, every position is a critical position, because you need to at least get as many points as possible. I mean, that's the point of the game. So you can say here, so right now they have, I believe that's, who is that? That is Slater right now in their bottom left. So they are eligible for that bingo right now, and that is a diagonal. With that 7.5 points that San Francisco pitching does have, and 2 from Quinn, I mean, Slater is -3 right now, so it would take a lot for them to actually dig themselves out of that hole. So realistically, he would have to get a triple or a home run, or even a double with a couple RBIs to actually make a difference and actually get into the positive points. So that's kind of what's holding them back. As you can see, their entire bottom line, actually the whole L shape, so the left vertical and the bottom horizontal are all negative scores. So you can see a couple strikeouts here and there for players that are on your board, and it's very hard to dig yourself out of these holes, because they can't, I mean, it takes an inning and a half usually, sometimes 2 or 3 innings even, to get back through the lineup, depending on how well your team is doing offensively. So it's something to, again, be aware of. And so this is where you have to play the numbers. You have to look at batting averages. You have to look at the overall team batting average, and kind of how, like, on-base percentage, that's huge. Slugging percentage, like the statistics matter. Like I said, I mean, people always talk about how baseball is a game of numbers, and the numbers do matter, like they do. Don't get me wrong, but the reality is, like, you have to pay attention to some of these. Now, I know, like, some of these players could be, you know, they could have a 180 batting average or under 200. They could still get on base. They could still hit home runs. It's possible. The percentages are against them, but it is probable. And like I said, because you're talking about thousands of or hundreds of games and thousands of plays and hundreds of attempts, improbabilities become a lot more common than you would think in baseball. So something to keep in mind if you do want to take a chance on some of those other players. So let's see who else is at the bottom here. Ran-M, so we've seen that name before, and again, missing players, and they are so they do have 1 bingo count. They're only eligible for 2 bingo counts, and we can actually see, so both of them have come from the vertical, as you can see, and so they are capable. If Quinn gets just, you know, on base even at all, they will get another bingo, and that'll be a huge one. So that one will propel them up a little bit, but like I said, in terms of longevity of the game, there's definitely a reason why they're currently ranked 22nd overall. So let's see, J-Style, we've seen a lot. So J-Style is consistently putting together good boards, but I mean, this is a very balanced board. If you look, like, you're putting a lot of emphasis and a lot of you're relying heavily on Philadelphia's batters coming through. Now, J-Style is currently ranked 7th with 40.45 points. So with 4 bingos, so they have been doing fairly well, but we can actually see those bingos. So none of the bingos have actually come from diagonals. They've all been 3 horizontal and then 1 vertical. So again, if you want to start getting more and more points, you have to rely on the diagonal bingos, right? Because that's where you're going to get the most points. Now, again, they're relying on Philadelphia's offense to do all the work in terms of those diagonals. Now, most of the time, I will have one of mine being all of the specific team that I've chosen to win, which is the pitching team. But then I usually have 1 square in one of the diagonals as the other team's best hitter, and I'll normally put them either in the bottom left or the top right, just because, you know, it depends on how much faith I have in that other team. But usually the best player, the best batter, or the person with the best batting average will at least get on base in the game. So something to be aware of. So let's see who else we can. Let's just go in the middle, right? So there we go. 14th place. Score of 34.1. They have 1 bingo and missing points, missing a lot of points. And you can see if Segura gets anything on them, then that would be huge for them. So they could get that bingo, because Gannett and the pitching have a combined of 18.5 points. So even with 1 point, so 19 points times, I believe that's 1.2. So that would be huge. That would be really huge for them. And so the same thing, even vertical, like that's the only bingo, or the horizontal. Horizontal would be great too if Dickerson, but I believe, yeah, so it will be interesting to see if Dickerson actually comes back through the lineup if we can, but I believe he is 0 for 3 with 1 strikeout. Yeah, so the strikeout has got him -1 point. So so you can see why that one would be tough, but that one would also be really good if Dickerson. So they have possibilities, and we can take a look at what they got. So they did get the horizontal. Again, they're waiting on the diagonal. The diagonal would be really good, but they're ineligible for the vertical, which is unfortunate. So we can take a look at the game a bit. Ooh, just outside. So we can go back here, and let's just take a look at first place. And I believe it is Bryce Harper is up. So Harper is eligible. So let's see if we can find somebody who has Harper on their board. that would actually make a huge difference. No, because a lot of people I think just got bingos. So Harper, there's right there. Let's see, Zeno Sadie, missing so many players. Like I don't get it. Can't believe we're missing that many players. Penn, Harper. Let's see. See, it's tough to find boards that are going to be active, that are going to be exactly what you need or what you're looking for at that point. So let's see. Nope, that would have been a good one. See, they don't even have Harper on their board. I don't think I put Harper on my board last time, just to be fair. Nope. It's a lot of points though, leaving on the board. GK. Nope. Dana, let's see, check out Dana. Doesn't have Harper, missing a lot of players. Like, it's just, like I said, I don't understand missing that many players. Nope. You know, we might not actually find somebody, but Hoskins is up anyways, so, but the bases are loaded, so let's actually get a feel for what's going on. So the bases are loaded. There is 2 away. We're in the top of the 7th. The count has not started yet. So Ray's Hoskins is 0 for 3 on the night. He has a 245 average, a 70-89 on-base percentage, 24 home runs. Ooh, and that one right in the strike zone, strike 1. The count is 0-1. So, again, we're talking about somebody right now, Hoskins. The bases are loaded. There is 2 away. He is 0 for 3 on the night and a 245 average. Now, for me, statistically speaking, I would not have a lot of faith in him, but when we're talking about some of these, mathematical statistics, it's a lot of them are not necessarily, like, again, there's more than enough plays and enough temps and pitches and throws that these mathematical improbabilities become significantly consistent. And they are not going to try to walk him, are they? This is brutal. So, again, another ball. Count is 2-1. And Tony Watson, this is his first inning. He has a 3.6 ERA, so it'll be interesting to see how these 2 guys battle it out. And if he can maintain the lead that San Francisco has. But this is a critical out right now. Hoskins looks ready. Ooh, and they call time. They let him think about it a little bit. Now that's going to be a lot. Like, obviously, as a batter, you know, he is slightly up in the count, but you know, just give him an extra second and just let him think about everything. Tony Watson, the 1-2 pitch, and he pops it up right in the infield. And that is an easy out to end the inning. And Tony Watson and the San Francisco Giants are able to get out of that very, very tough situation. And you can tell that he is not happy with leaving the bases loaded like that. That is a unbelievably rough situation to be in. So let's take a look. So the board still remains the same. Number 1, who has been number 1, is still number 1. Again, they are waiting now on Brandon Belt, I believe. So once we get back, we will see who is up first. I actually don't know who is going to be up right now, but this is going to be a tight last few innings. So don't go anywhere because we are not. But I can tell you, if they get Belt and they get another vertical bingo, I mean, unless one of these teams starts scoring a lot of runs, it will be very tough for other people to come back. So now that being said, they do have Philadelphia as pitching, so they might not actually be there. It will be very interesting to see. So obviously, Brandon Bell has a -1 for his score currently. So if he gets on base, like let's say he gets a double, That'll give him, I believe, 2.5 points. So he'll get 1.5 points positive, and then he'll get the vertical bingo, which isn't worth, again, it isn't worth as much as the diagonal. But that would be huge to get another bingo. But that, then you're also getting a minus score on Philadelphia in terms of their pitching. So you have to kind of pick your battles and just kind of see, you know, how that kind of plays out. So it'll be interesting again once we get back into the game and see how the batting order is. That'll be kind of crucial. But let's just again take a look at who else we have up. So again, Philadelphia's pitcher, 0 points. So they're gonna have to rely again. They have Belt as well, -1. So we're gonna have to see how Philadelphia is able to handle this. Yeah, it's gonna be tough. I think. Because I mean I think like right now San Francisco is up. So if a player wins and they have Philadelphia as a pitcher, I'll actually be really surprised. So if San Francisco does end up winning the game, but let's see, where's our first? Yeah, first San Francisco pitcher. So let's see, they have Belt as well. Yeah, San Francisco pitching is doing 0 right now. Brandon Crawford. And Crawford, I might have actually gone with, I think I would have had Crawford on my board had I had one today, because Crawford is usually fairly consistent. Now we can double check though to see. Yeah, and you can see that they have not got any points out of Crawford, at least for today. So that's surprising. So there we go. So Mike Morin is up. This is going to be his first inning. He has a 3.66 ERA, and he's going against Joey Ricard, who is over 0 today. He does not have any attempts, so I believe we are. This is a pinch hit for their pitcher, Jerez. Okay, so we are at the very bottom of the lineup then, and Joey Ricard again. 0 for 0 today. This is his first at bat. He has a 207 average with a 686 on base percentage, 3 home runs on the year, and right now he is 0-2. So 0-2. That is not where you want to be, obviously. And again, nobody's going to have him on their board. So the only points that are really going to be scored from this will be Philadelphia's pitching, providing he gets struck out here. So let's see what happens. Oh, okay. Okay, so 0-2. So that was a high changeup, an off-speed pitch. I actually don't like that. That might have been a little high for me, but I think it dropped right into the strike zone. Ooh, and there's a strike 3 on a swing. And Mike Morin, first batter up, gets the out, so that is huge for him. We've talked extensively about how important it is to get that leadoff batter out, and obviously if you're starting with a pinch hitter for the pitcher, it's going to be significantly easier, and obviously somebody with a 207 batting average is going to be a lot easier. But Brandon Belt is up again, 0 for 1 on the day, so that's going to be kind of interesting to see how that plays out. And so let's go back to I believe the first ranked player. Yes, it does have Brandon Belt, so let's watch for that and kind of keep that in mind and see how that bingo plays out for them after this at bat. Now Brandon Belt is 0 for 2 in the day, only has a 230 average, 726 on base percentages, and 12 home runs on the year. Woohoo! Low breaking ball, low and outside, strike 1. So the count is 1-1. So San Francisco up 6-5 in the bottom of the 7th. The 1-1 pitch, and Brandon Belt pops it up to center field, and Roman Quinn is right there for the catch, and that is an easy 2 away. So Mike Morin now, in his first inning, has gone 2 up, 2 down, and hopefully he can get out of the inning very, very fast in potentially less than 9 pitches, which would be phenomenal. He has pitched 6 times so far, so he has the ability to actually get out of this inning in 9 pitches, which is potentially one of the fastest ways to get out of the inning. Now you could pop fly on the first 3, but that's, the percentages again are super rare. But there's a ball right there, 1-0. So Mike Yazermensky is up. And we can see who has Yaz on their board. Now I believe I have gone with Yaz before in the past. Definitely a player that I like. I think he's really good, but might be a little harder to find. Yaz does have a 269 average and 828 batting average, or on-base percentage, sorry. There we go. So yeah, so this person will be eligible for that diagonal bingo. So we can take a look at kind of stay along and see kind of how this plays out, because this would be huge for Yaz. This would be huge for this person as well. Ooh, and there's a strike. So that's 2-1 now. 90-mile-an-hour fastball. So even if Yaz just gets on base, like if he gets walked, if he gets hit, that'll give him 1.5 points, and that'll be huge for this person, obviously, because they are 3rd place right now. Ooh, low and outside. So that's ball 3. So Yaz is up in the count right now, has the ability to actually get walked, which would be huge. Obviously, again, Mike Morin is now above that 9 pitch count, so he's at 11 pitches currently. And Yaz pops it up. Corey Dickerson in left field is there for the catch, and that is 3 up, 3 down for Mike Morin with 1 strikeout. So Yazerman does not get on base, and that will deny XOMMUXAN the diagonal bingo. So that is unfortunate that we are not able to see that. But you can tell, like I said, when you're dealing with this game, it is very much, it's very, very skill testing in the regards to how you set up your board and the way that you're going to play it out. Now if we go back to first place, Philadelphia is pitching. Done great, giving them a lot more points. So now they have 5 points in the middle right now. Again, we're going to have to wait for Hernandez, and I don't remember, again, who is up first. I believe we ended on Quinn, so that would mean... No, we had Bryce Harper come up, and we had Hoskins come up. So we have Segura coming up, I believe. I believe Segura is coming up. So, Segura is right there for first place, so we get them more points, but does not do much for them. Let's see who else. Yeah, Brandon Belt's got the -1, so won't do much for them in the diagonal. Segura up. Again, it's going to give them more points, but doesn't do much for them. It's like, this is the tough thing, is because some players you're going to get them on the right day, and it's going to make a huge difference, and other days you're not. And so, but again, just, oh my gosh, this person is missing a lot of, wow, okay, so they're missing a lot of players, as you can see, but they have so many points in that little square. That is, I have never seen that before. That is, to have that many points is like, and you can't do anything with them, but they're still ranked 7th, so that is a very interesting board. So let's see, looking for somebody that would have Segura in a good position. See. Oh, that's so weird. That's like the same board. So let's see, 10th place, Atlas, Segura's not there. So we can actually just scroll down, Segura, nope, oh, right there. But again, -1 because Brandon Crawford is not doing anything. So Segura, again, not much there. Okay. Sorry about that. So I can't find anybody who has Segura on their board that might actually be somewhat beneficial. So, but that might not necessarily be, that might not necessarily matter, but we will see. Segura's only been 1 for 5 today, but does have a 282 average, so I normally would have gone with Segura personally. But after that out, I think that's kind of unfortunate. I mean, it is what it is. So a lot of people are going to be struggling today, which is surprising when you have so many runs scored. But again, it is a very tight game, so there is one away right now. So that's the first pitch ball. So this is JT Realmuto, and 1 for 2 on the day, 270 average, 771 on base percentage, 15 home runs against Tony Watson, who has a 3.55 ERA. And we can see who has Realmuto as well. Yeah, so again, can't really do anything, doesn't, just gives them more points. So we're going to see a lot of that, unfortunately. It's just the reality. Again, like, just going to get them more points. So this is the very difficult part of this. So this, they could get points, but doesn't do anything for them. So I mean, like, I'm not saying it doesn't, I'm saying it doesn't do anything for them. It does something because obviously it's gaining points, but what I'm talking about is the ability to get bingos and where you can get them. And a lot of these, because they're missing players. Like it's ridiculous. Like you can't, you can't continuously miss players and expect something good to happen. Like, that's just, and especially when you're talking about, the ability to make money at this. Like, I mean, I take it very seriously. I make sure, hey, these players are in, these players are not. Now I'm not. I've definitely made the mistake of doing that a few times, and how do you have 3 players on your board? Wow, that is bad. That is really bad. Okay, cool. So, Realmuto did get on base. So a lot of players on Ranking Ball are going to get like 1 more point, or I guess 1.5 points off of that. And you can see, right? So now they have 3.5. So they can't get the diagonal, which is unfortunate, but they can get the horizontal. But Belt needs to do something. But yeah, Scott Kingery is up. 1 for 3 on the day, 272 average, an 833 on base percentage, 14 home runs. And Kingery is here again, so Kingery could set up the horizontal or the vertical. We would need Segura to do something, which he hasn't, and we would need Hoskins to do something, but he's at the top of the lineup, so that would be a while before we actually see anything out of them. But the rest of the players, let's see who have. Again, this is just like there's so many, like, how. Yeah, this is. Yeah, a lot of these people are just missing players, and it's hard to actually find somebody who has this stuff that is going to make a difference when nobody has players that are actually on the board. So that's frustrating to say the least. How do you have 3 players? How do you, like, really, how do you have 3 players? This is the most ridiculous thing. So, nobody has Kingery. Okay. And there's a hit. So Kingery gets the double after driving it to deep right field. That's great placement for the double. So now Philadelphia, who is behind 6-5, has the go-ahead run on second right now. So this is where the game is going to get very interesting, and we'll have to see kind of how San Francisco handles this now. And so first place's grip on first has not significantly, but has definitely improved. They are now up 6 points. So very good place to be in right now. And they look like they're going to talk it through. So, if we go through, let's see. If we go through, I believe there is a pitching changeup. Let's see. I believe Will Smith will replace Tony Watson batting 8th. So that's going to be interesting. So we're going to have Will Smith up. Yeah, so Will Smith will be pitching. He has a 2.50 ERA. And he is going up against Corey Dickerson, who is 0 for 3 on the day, but does have a 316 average, 946 on base percentage, and 7 home runs. Now, Corey Dickerson, again, this is one of those statistical things where, you know, with a 316 average, I would have definitely put him on my board. But it's unfortunate that he hasn't actually performed. So, again, just one of those things that if a player has an off night, I mean, it is what it is. And you just kind of have to bite the bullet on that. So, well, again, it's their numbers and their batting average do give you kind of an idea of where you can kind of score points that, you know, the reality of it is completely different. So, we will watch this person's board. They are currently ranked in 4th. Dickerson has -1, but and they have 55.25 points and 4 bingos. But if Dickerson gets on base or scores, if Dickerson gets a single, 1 run will score. That'll tie the game. And it'll be interesting to see how that changes the rest of this game. And that would change this person's board significantly as well. So you can see they would get a horizontal bingo. So they could then potentially jump. I mean, they are 11 points back. And because depending on, I mean, really they might get up to 3rd place, I think. I don't see them going much higher than 3rd. And there is a deep drive to right field. Ooh. But Mike Yaz is right there. Now that is a sacrifice fly still, and so there 1 run will still score. So now we have a tie game, ladies and gentlemen. So now in the top of the 8th with 2 away, it is tied 6-6, and we will see how. So again, 4th place, 55.25 points, but because of the ERA or the RBI, I mean, even though they have -1, that should still be a bingo. So we can double check that now and see kind of how that plays out. Okay, so it didn't technically give them the bingo yet because they have the RBI is good for a 1.5. So now they have 0.5 of a point. So they're still technically not eligible for that bingo unless they have a full point. So they didn't get the bingo, but they are up 55 to 57 now, and you can see on the overall rankings, they are only 0.2 away from Jay Styles. So again, as I mentioned before, even with the bingo, they would have only jumped up to 3rd because I don't think they would have gotten to that 1st place position. But we have Miller up right now. So nobody's going to have Miller because he is a pinch hitter for the pitcher. And then we will have Quinn up after this. So, woohoo, strike. So Miller this is his first at bat, 235 average, 777 on base percentage, and 4 home runs on the year. And we will see how that plays out for him. Ooh. Low breaking ball and a slider. So that's strike 2. So Will Smith, again, 2.49 ERA, has been doing very well. There is 2 away. The count is 0-2. And Philadelphia has taken the lead. And there is a hit to deep right center. And Yaz is there. That is an easy out. 3 away. Philadelphia scores 1 run but leaves runners on base. and we're going to the bottom of the 8th. So San Francisco has got to respond right now, and that'll be the interesting thing. We'll see how that plays out. Again, we have 2 innings, but it looks like we might have extra innings here today. So how cool would that be? How cool would that be? So let's take a look at some of these players. So it's gone up from 66 to 68, and a lead of 7 points roughly. So who do we have up? So I don't remember who we had up last, but we'll have to see. And again, they only have one. This person only has one San Francisco batter, so we need to see somebody who has more San Francisco players. Actually, even coming into this game, I probably would have chosen San Francisco as the winner. So it would be interesting to see, I guess, where I would be, because like I said, a majority of these people are all Philadelphia pitchers. So yeah, and there's not a lot of, but again, if San Francisco just all of a sudden scores a ton of points this inning, or even in the 9th, that could severely flip the boards all over the place. So something to be aware of. I can't believe, how are you missing that many players? Like, that's just, and they're 5th too. That weirds me out. Like, look at this, 17 points. Like 17 points for the pitching. That's ridiculous. Okay. So King Kong missing so many players, so it's hard to talk about when they don't have people on the board. Hoskins would be a good, like, that would be huge for them, obviously. They're currently ranked with 43 points, so I mean, it might put them in the top 5, maybe. I mean, it depends. If Hoskins came in and hit a home run, that would be huge, but you know, here's hoping, right? So Jose Alvarez will be pitching. This is his first inning. He has a 2.86 ERA against Evan Longoria, who is 2 for 3 on the night with a 2.47 average, 765 on-base percentage, and 14 home runs on the year. Ooh. And that first pitch is fouled away. So Longoria, again, will get this person in 9th place points, but it won't do much for them. Because they don't have players. Like, Longoria could do something there, maybe. And there's Longoria drives it and singles it out to left center field. So Longoria does get on base, and there is the go-ahead run, is now on first for San Francisco. So that could be huge for them. They obviously need to respond after allowing that 1 run to tie the game in the last inning, or the top of this inning, I should say. This is great placement. And the shortstop just cannot get to it in time. So again, perfect placement. Great for a base hit. And Stephen Vogt is up right now. Vogt is 1 for 3, 285 average, 881 on-base percentage with 6 home runs. So we can see if somebody has him, because I don't know if they do, though. I don't remember seeing his name that often. But let's actually go down to the bottom of the board and just take a look. No. Nope. It's like nobody wanted to choose him, which is sad. No. Nope. Yeah, again, I mean, it's hard to talk about players and talk about boards when nobody has him and everybody's missing so many players, because it's ridiculous. Nothing. So we're just going to assume that nobody has him on their boards. So Scooter Jeanette is up 2 for 3 on the day, 235 average, 612 on base percentage, 2 home runs. There is now 1 away. Ball. Again, I don't remember seeing Jeanette's name anywhere on other boards. And once you get to the later innings and they start bringing guys off the bench, it does kind of take away from your board, which makes it difficult. Ooh, and there's a strike. So the count is 2-1. So there is 1 away, 1 on base, and San Francisco needs to bring that run in to take the lead going into the 9th. That is a nice pitch. Another fastball, 93 miles an hour. The count is now 2-2. So it'll be interesting to see kind of how Alvarez responds now that he's up in the count. Again, not by much, but with those 2 fastballs, maybe throws a slider or a changeup in there. And almost loses control. That is a very high and inside fastball. And Jeanette had to back off of that one. Wow. That is scary. That could have been very bad. Jeanette looks like he's got to shake that one off. So the count is 3-2. There's 1 away, 1 on base. Scooter Jeanette is now 2-3 on the day. And it's almost a bunt, but it's in play. And Jeanette gets on to base. Are they calling that foul? Let's get a replay. And it looks like they are going to call that foul. They're going to call it out. Oh, so batter interference. Okay. So they're calling that batter interference. It's basically him touching the ball after he hit it, as you can see. So it does go for an out, actually. So that's what's happening there. So Kevin Pillar will come up. He is 1 for 3 on the day, 249 average, a 696 on base percentage, and 15 home runs. So there's now 2 away, 1 on base, bottom of the 8th. Score's tied 6-6, and it looks like they might be bringing in a new pitching. So, unfortunately, Jose Alvarez gets 2 outs, and then they're going to be pulling him, and they're going to change for Nick Pivetta. So that's interesting. That's an interesting choice, and that's one of those things that when it comes to baseball, is they make very unique choices based on pitching, where you get half an inning sometimes, which cool, but that's obviously not what you want. So I don't remember seeing Pillar on a lot of boards either. Oh, there, right there. Oh, sweet. So that works out great. So 4th place, 56.75 points. Kevin Pillar is going to be up, and they have 4 bingos, and they are in line for another one, providing Pillar is actually able to do something. So that would be huge for them. And again, I'm not going to pronounce their name because it's at that point now where I come up with a normal screen name, you know, like baseball winner 1 or something. I don't know, something I can pronounce. I can't pronounce unless it's Zamujan. I don't know, beyond me. But Nick Pivetta on the mound, 5.16 ERA against Kevin Pillar, who is 1 for 3 on the day with a 249 average. So let's see if Pillar can do something. If Pillar does something, that's going to be a huge diagonal bingo for this person. Even if, again, even with a single, you're looking at 1.5 points. Ooh, low, very outside, in the dirt. Ball one. And again, these are always tough situations to come into. You're coming into a game and that's already like, it's a tie game. You have the go-ahead run on first, and you have to, like, there is 2 away, so you have that security and that safety blanket. But even with 2 away, there's nothing stopping Pilar from just destroying this ball as he fouls that one away. So the count is now 1-1. Again, 1-1, 1 on base, 2 away, bottom of the 8th, tie game. The 1-1 pitch. Ooh, low and outside. And that is a wild pitch, so the runner at first will advance to second. And now the catcher is coming out to talk to Pivetta. As you can see, just loses control of it. Just at the bottom, it sinks right into the dirt. And that's more than enough time for the runner to advance to second. So, San Francisco now has the go-ahead run in scoring position. So if Pilar can even get a single here, that might be enough. That might be enough for the go-ahead score to come in now. And they go down to the third base coach to get the call, and he says ball. So the count is 2-1. Ooh, and Pilar gets a piece of it to right center field at the warning track, and that'll be good for a double. And there's the go-ahead run for San Francisco, and that is actually a triple. Congratulations, San Francisco. They have now taken the lead 7-6 in the bottom of the 8th with 2 away. Kevin Pilar comes up big with the triple. Wow, okay, so now, again, that's what I'm talking about. This can change very fast. Now, Pilar is now 2 for 4 on the day. As you can see here, just the right pitch. 94-mile-an-hour fastball right in the strike zone, exactly where Pilar wanted it, and is able to send it to the wall. Right in the gap in right center field. And is able to get the triple out of that. That is great play. So Will Smith is now up. Will Smith, this will be his first at bat. So they have intentionally walked Brandon Crawford, so he gets on base. So they have intentionally walked Brandon Crawford so they could get Will Smith at bat. Now Will Smith, again, 0 for 0 on the day, has a 0 average. He is the pitcher. So they're basically looking just to get out of the inning because there's 2 away. So they're hoping to just strike out Smith here very fast, I think. It's not going to be the easiest though. That is a ball. Oh, and let's go back and just check this out because now Pilar did get the... So we can go back here. And look at that. All the way into second now. All the way in second. So they did get that bingo. So now they have a score of 62.75 because of Pilar. So that is huge for them right now. And it looks like the pitcher is having trouble getting some controls of that ball. So that is the first strike called. So the count is 3-1 against Will Smith. And again, they're not looking for much from him. And Smith gets a piece of it, right? A drive right down the first baseline. And that'll be good for a single. And Smith is safe. And I believe 2 runs have just scored. And Will Smith, who they... Oh my God, so they walked Brandon Crawford and then both runs end up scoring. So, wow, so Will Smith, who they thought was going to be an easy strikeout, gets the base hit and is able to drive home 2 runs. And now San Francisco is a 9-6 lead with 2 away. And they are going back to the top of the lineup, I believe. Oh my gosh. Oh man. Oh, sorry, they're not even at the top of the lineup. They're still 1 more. So this is what I'm talking about. Statistical improbabilities become commonplace in baseball, and this is the game right now. Oh my gosh. And for Philadelphia to fall apart in the bottom of the 8th like this is unbelievable. When you have 2 outs, and you cannot, like, oh my gosh. So Will Smith is the hero today. Oh my gosh. And there is another base hit right into the gap into center, right center field. And I believe 2 more runs may score off of that, or 1 more run may score off of that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so no, sorry. So nobody scored. Runners now are on both in scoring position at second and third base, 2 away, and now we go back to the top of the lineup with Brandon Belt. Now Belt has a 229 average and is 0 for 3 on the night with a 724 on base percentage, 12 home runs. But as you can see, Nick Pivetta has crumbled and has fallen apart, and they are going back to the mound to talk about it. Oh my goodness. And so you can see how fastly Philadelphia has folded now in the bottom of the 8th, even with 2 away. That is unbelievable. Right there, there's, oh my gosh, the throw to first is not in time, and then the fact that they have to relay it now to home is just unbelievable. I cannot believe this is so ridiculous. I've mentioned the improbabilities, like the mathematical improbabilities multiple times today, but also before. But when you see it happen like this, is just so exciting, and it just, oh my gosh, wow! Especially when the game is in a position like this where they needed to score runs to take the lead, and now they have, and I believe they might have secured the win here. And you can feel the momentum, even like in the stadium, is completely shifted, and Philadelphia is just lost any sort of momentum that they had after tying the game. So let's just hope that, for the Phillies' sake, Pivetta can get out of the inning. And there's the strike, so the count is now 2-1. Now again, San Francisco has 2 runners in scoring position, and we actually can see if somebody has Brandon Belt. I believe first place had Brandon Belt. Ooh, it's in the dirt. Wild pitch. Okay. Oh, so this person who we talked about before is now in first place with 58.75 points, so that is something special. So second place does have Brandon Belt. Now Brandon Belt is 0 for 1 on the day, so we can kind of see, and you can see how fast Philadelphia's pitching has severely dropped, and that's what I'm talking about. It's hard to dig yourself out of those holes in that case. Now there's another foul ball down the left baseline into the crowd. So again, Brandon Belt 0 for 3. But the count is 3-2, so full count, 2 on base, 2 outs. San Francisco is in the lead, and Pivetta is struggling now. Ooh, and cannot control the ball, and that is ball 4, and the bases are loaded. And we have Yaz coming up. Yaz, who has a 268 average on the year. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. They might actually end up pulling Pivetta. So Brandon Belt gets the walk, and Mike Yastrzemski is 2 for 4 on the day, 268 average, 824 on base percentage, and 12 home runs. Can be huge right now. And I don't know who has Yaz. Maybe we can find. Oh, there we go, Yaz. But again, -1 for Philadelphia. Yaz. J Style, you have Yaz. You do not have Yaz. Let's see, Yaz, nope. Yaz, nope. Well, let's go back. Sanyu, nope. I know first place did have Yaz, so let's just stay with first place then, as of right now. So, remember, 2 away, and at one point, Pavetta had 2 strikes, and then everything changed. And I mean everything, the momentum, the scoreboard. Like I said, even first place right now has -9 points because they have chosen Philadelphia as the pitcher, yet they are first place. So, ooh, and there's another hit, but that is going to be stopped by the shortstop. And that finally ends the inning. So San Francisco scores 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th to go from a tie game to take the lead. And Nick Pavetta, in his first inning pitched, when he was coming in to, I mean, he needed 1 out. They brought him in to get 1 out, and he ends up allowing 3 runs. It's just unbelievable. So Philadelphia now has to come back, and this will be a very, very interesting conclusion. So, so first place is still first place, but again, -6 points for their batting or their pitching. So let's see if we can find where that first Giants pitcher is. Oh my gosh, look at all these Philadelphia pitchers with it. There we go. So first, I mean, I guess San Francisco isn't doing much better, but the first San Francisco pitcher is 4th place, is Q Ting. And San Francisco's -2.5 compared to the minus. So when you are in these very tight games, it is going to be very difficult to kind of pick a winner. And like I said, when you're getting players who are not necessarily your star players, getting a lot of performance out of them, especially when it matters, is very huge, specifically for the team. But it makes Ranking Ball, it adds a secondary element to Ranking Ball that, again, you might have to take chances on some of these players who have lower batting averages, who are kind of in the bottom half of the lineup usually. I tend to put 1, maybe 2 players in the lineup who are who might not necessarily have the highest averages on my board, just because of these statistical anomalies, like hoping that, hey, maybe they get 1 hit, maybe they do get a couple RBIs, like something when you need it to. So again, it might be difficult to kind of plan that and to figure that out, but you know, that's one of those things that you kind of have to hope for. So Roman Quinn will be up. Quinn is 0 for 2 on the day, and let's see if we can find somebody who has Quinn on their board, but it might be difficult because, again, I don't believe I've seen Quinn on a lot of boards today, especially in the top 5. I don't think I've seen him out there because I believe this is the bottom of the lineup. Yeah, Quinn is at the very bottom of the lineup. So before we come back through Bryce Harper, we might not see him. So Quinn just... So we will go back to the top of the lineup. And you can see right there, just quickly bunts. Pitcher is there, falling to his knees, but gets the throw in time. And that is 1 away. And San Francisco is now 2 outs away from taking the win here in the bottom of the 8th. Will Smith, who made that great hit, that great single in that last inning, from his knees, falling down, still makes the throw, accurate throw too, which is huge. So Bryce Harper is up. Bryce Harper is 1 for 2 on the day, 251 average, 846 batting average, or on base percentage, excuse me, and 22 home runs. And that first pitch is fouled away. So let's see who has Harper. Harper's right there, but again, get them points, but won't really do much for them. Second place, Harper's there. Again, same thing. Get points, won't really do much for them. J Style. Do you have Harper? Oh, you don't even have Harper. That's interesting. Dang, Harper. Harper will get this person a bingo, and they're in fourth place right now. So, and Real Moto has 5.5 points. Crawford has 1.5 points. So if Harper can get something here, that'll be interesting. But the count is currently 0-2, I believe. And that is fouled away. So the count remains 0-2. So Harper has to be under a certain amount of stress, knowing that he has to at least get on base right now. He has to do something offensively for Philly to get any sort of chance to come back with one away. And Q Ting is relying on Harper for that bingo. Oh, they're getting the call. And they're going to call that a strike. So that is strike 3 for Harper. So now we have 2 away in the bottom of, or the top of the ninth. And San Francisco is up 9-6. Ooh, okay. You know what? That's a strike. I'm going to call that a strike 2. I might have... Yeah, because he's still moving forward as the pitch passed. Had he... and then pulled back as the pitch was coming in, would have been a ball. But because he's still going forward as the ball passed and then pulls back, that's going to kind of, that's how I see it. But you know, who the heck am I? You don't have to listen to me. But that's just how I, as a former umpire, that's how I would make that call. So, Bryce Hoskins is up 0 for 4 in the day, 245. Let's see if we can find somebody with him, because he could be the last out of the game. So there we go, Hoskins, right there. Second place. Hoskins is minus 0.5. So this will be interesting because Hoskins is 0 for 4. There's another ball. Is second place. If Hoskins gets on base, this could propel this player from second back to first. And remember, they were first for a long time. So we can kind of see how this plays out. There's another ball. So Hoskins 0 for 4 on the night. And Philadelphia needs some sort of offensive production here to come back. Hoskins 0 for 4. So again, they have Philadelphia as their pitching, who has minus 10 for them, which is crazy. But they do have a score of 59.05. Wow, okay, they called that up. Oh, so yeah, so they did walk Hoskins. So they intentionally walked Hoskins. So Segura is up now. Segura is 1 for 5 with a 282 average. So this person should be in first place now if we actually go back to the board and just check it out. Yeah, there we go. So 61 points. So they got the bingo right there. So that is huge for them. Now Segura is on base. Okay, so again, won't do much for them there. And that's got to be tough for them too, because to know, like, hey, at the end of the game, oh, there we go. Jay Style can get a bingo off Segura if he can do something. Now there is 2 away, 1 runner on second actually. Whew, inside. So the count is 1-2. And Segura again 1 for 5, 282 batting average, 759 on base percentage, and 11 home runs. 2 outs. And that one's fouled away. So the count is 1-2. So we are 1 strike away from ending this game and San Francisco being able to come back. And that being said, if Segura does anything, though, gets on base at all, Jay Style might be propelled up the board, maybe at least to second place with that horizontal bingo on that bottom line. So we're paying very close attention to that right now. There's a ball. The count is 2-2. It's a 93-mile-an-hour fastball. And again, Segura has to know that at least to get into closer striking range of the wind, that he needs to either get on base or bring other batters home. Ooh, and he tries to dig that one out, and it's fouled away. So the count is still 2-2. So Will Smith, with a 244 average, is hoping to close this game out, and all he needs is one strike to end the game. And I can't believe San Francisco being able to come back and score 3 runs in the bottom of the 8th during a tie game is huge. And there's one popped up. And that is an easy out for Kevin Pillar. And the San Francisco Giants have come back in the bottom of the 8th to score 3 runs, take the lead, and take the win. And that is a huge, huge win for San Francisco. And that one has to hurt. Has to hurt Philadelphia. So we can actually go back to the board and we can get a final look at how the game played out and who is where. Let's see. So, I believe... see. Play slide done. Okay, so these will be the final scorers. So RKDTMDWNS1130 did win. So congratulations to them with a score of 61.3, and they have 6 bingo counts. And you can see they got 3 horizontal right down the middle, 1 horizontal at the top, and then 2 vertical on the middle and the right side of the board. So that is how they scored 61 points, and that's how they took the lead. And again, you're leaving points on the board with Yaz right there in second place. That one would have been tough. So that is it. So congratulations to those players who have won. Now, that is a huge game. Now, it's a tight game, and it's interesting that the Giants pitchers did not, the people who chose the Giants pitchers, and the Giants ultimately winning the game, weren't in the top half, which would normally be the case. But at that point, the Philadelphia pitchers had been or the people who had chosen Philadelphia had the strategically right board to gather enough points that their pitching, even though it took a huge hit in the end, which was like -10, -11, didn't necessarily make it too much of a difference. So, and then the Giants pitching didn't need to do much, and they didn't really get a lot of strikeouts. It was purely defensive plays from the infield and the outfield. So that's kind of how that played out. So for all of you who played, congratulations. I want to congratulate the winners, the top few players, and everybody. Good luck. Continue to rise the ranks, and we hope to see you next time. So if you want to see any more, don't forget to check your mobile devices for any of the rewards and prizes that you've won, as well as RankingBall.com, and we will see you next time.